Hi everybody, this is Kevin and welcome back to another video. And today I would like to once again share my thoughts on Astro Bot, which has finally been released, a game that has quickly become my most anticipated game for the remainder of the year, especially after playing Astros Playroom for the very first time this past June, which is so sad that I wrote that game off for so long. But when I first bought my PS5, I was knee-deep in the Trails series, and I wanted to finish them before moving on to anything else, but I also just assumed Astros Playroom was your run-of-the-mill tech demo, which in a way it is. It definitely is a tech demo for the PS5, but more importantly, the DualSense controller. However, once I finally played the game, I just realized how great it was, and it just, the heart and soul that was put into Astros Playroom, a 4 or 5 hour long game that gets extended to 6 hours if you go for the Platinum Trophy and all the free DLC, collecting the 4 special bots, of course, which carry over into Astro Bot, the full game now. And it just reminded me of what PlayStation used to be, and before they focus on doing the ultra-realistic graphic games like God of War and Last of Us and all this other stuff, and just a fun, comfy game that has great gameplay mechanics, really utilizes the DualSense controller. I think it was either my Astros Playroom review or one of my many hype videos for Astro Bot. This is now my 4th video on Astro Bot, if you can believe that. I declare the game as the better version of Super Mario Galaxy, and I really do stand by that. And it's so funny because I've seen other people mention that now, whether it's on Twitter or just comments in the Astro Bot trailers. I've seen other people mention it. I'm not going to say I'm the person who said it first, but I said it in my video, and I do stand by it that it is, because, you know, the Wii Remote and Super Mario Galaxy, I think that's all the way back in 2007, so we've come a long way. The Wii Remote was definitely influential for the time and groundbreaking, but the DualSense controller, the way you move things around, the touchpad, the triggers, how there's resistance on them for some of the transformations that Astro undergoes. Like there's the one where he turns into a monkey and he's climbing the rock wall, and you got to be a little careful. If you pull the trigger too far, you'll slip. There's the one where he turns into a spring, the same thing. Just so cool. And I'm really curious to see what they're going to do here, because in some of the trailers it shows Astro has even more transformations. There's one where he wields Kratos' weapon from God of War, and I just can't wait, man. And talk about all the cameos. So, of course, you had the 4 special bots to find in Astro's Playroom, and I loved how they handled that, because they revealed the first trailer for Astro Bot at the very end of May, which left us, I think, 4 months until the release of Astro Bot. And each month they did a new free DLC update where they hid the special bot in a random level, and you had to go there, solve the puzzle, and then you get the special bot. And if you find all 4 of them, you can carry them over from your save file of Astro's Playroom to Astro Bot, so the bots go over with you. I think I read somewhere there's going to be hundreds of cameos and other bots. You can recognize some of them in the trailers. Like, of course, I mentioned Kratos. There's Nathan Drake, Ratchet and Clank, Jack and Daxter. But there's even some more obscure ones. Well, I don't know how obscure, because it's pretty mainstream. But as far as like Sony properties go, there's even the Persona characters. I've seen Joker from Persona 5. I think there's Aegis from Persona 3 in there. And even maybe some of the characters from Persona 4. And also Kiryu from the Yakuza series, or as it's known now, the Like a Dragon series. So all sorts of stuff like that. Gravity Rush, Solid Snake from the Metal Gear series. Like, there's so many other cameos to look out for. And just the way the worlds are designed, it's such a beautiful aesthetic. I don't know, like, what the graphic would even be called. It's not really called cel shaded. That's more of like the anime art style, but it's away from the ultra realistic graphics that Sony has sort of embraced over the past few years with their God of Wars, Last of Us, Uncharted, which they haven't made a new Uncharted game in some time, but you get what I'm saying. And at its core, it's just a comfy, fun adventure. It's not going to be too long. You know, Astro's Playroom was, and it was a tech demo, right? But it was only like 4 or 5 hours long. If you go for the Platinum, it took you like 6 hours, especially if you did the free DLC and got the special bots that were all hidden there. But I've heard the main story for Astro Bot is going to take about 8 to 10 hours. And then if you go for the Platinum Trophy, it'll take you between 15 and 20 hours. So that's a perfect experience, especially for me, which I'm used to playing 100-hour-long JRPGs. So this will be a nice break to go through a little shorter game, but really take it all in, trying to notice all the different cameos and Easter eggs and explore all the different worlds, see Astro's new abilities. I just can't wait, man. And it's in such stark contrast to what I talked about last week. Of course, I revived my Ranting and Raving with Kevin series last week to talk about the duality of PlayStation with how they were able to release the most colossal failure of all time, frankly, in Concord. And I think it was 10 days later, they said they were going to cease activity, and finally on this day, September 6th, they decided to shut it down. And it's so poetic that they shut Concord down on the day that Astro Bot releases. You know, you see the heart and soul and the love poured into Astro Bot with the soulless, whatever the hell Concord was. I talked about how ugly and gross the character designs are, and they really are. But from what I understand, it took them 8 years to develop that game, $200 million to, you know, that's just development. You got to talk about marketing as well. That stupid controller they made, which actually doesn't look too bad. It's just a black controller with some other designs, which still hasn't sold out. And typically those limited edition controllers sell out like crazy. I know the Astro Bot one did on the PlayStation Store. I think you can probably still get it at retailers like Best Buy, GameStop, maybe even Amazon, but the scalpers will probably get their hands on it. And I've seen people say like how oh, it's so terrible, I'm so sad. No, I'm glad Concord failed as badly as it did, because hopefully it sends a message to Sony and PlayStation, and my hope is Astro Bot is going to be successful in terms of sales. I already know it's going to be successful in terms of the people who do play are going to enjoy it. But it's just a matter of what the sales are like. And then in contrast of Astro Bot, which I think the development for that game was around 3 or 4 years. It probably started right after the PlayStation 5 release with Astros Playroom, because of course that's the groundwork for Astro Bot, and just the heart and soul that they poured into it. There's a mini documentary series that PlayStation has been uploading on their YouTube channel where the developers have been talking about each of the different things they've done, such as level design, the audio. That's another thing I never really even mentioned, the music in Astro's Playroom and in turn Astro Bot. I love the main theme song for Astro Bot where it's just the robotic voice. He's like, I am Astro Bot. It's so cute, man. I love it so much. And, oh man, like I said, I know the people who are going to play this game are going to love it. It's just a matter of how the sales do. And I hope, because so many people have been talking about it, I'm doing my part to talk about it as much as I can, that it sells well. We'll get an Astro Bot 2, and then Sony will focus more on these types of games, single-player games that, you know, people will cherish forever. Because looking at Concord, it's done. Like, there's no single-player mode. It was just a live service game, an online multiplayer shooter, and they ceased its function. It's done. It's dead. Whereas Astro Bot, it's going to release. People who buy it on launch are all going to enjoy it. But then, you know, a year or two from now, we can go back and play it again. And I even heard the developers say, similar to what they did with Astro's Playroom, they're going to possibly add the free DLC. They did the free DLC time trials, and then, of course, the 4 special bots. So I'm absolutely looking forward to seeing if they're going to add free DLC again for Astro Bot, the full game, and especially looking forward to Astro Bot 2. But I don't want to get too far ahead of myself because I haven't even played the first game yet, but I'm just so excited I can't even contain it. So let me know if you're going to pick this game up as well. I look forward to playing it. Of course, I'm recording it a couple days in advance, so this video will go up Friday morning, but I'm going to play it all weekend, and I'm definitely going to do a review of it after I beat it, and who knows, maybe even some more Astro Bot videos. So thank you guys so much for watching this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and stay tuned for more videos coming soon. Everybody have a great day, and peace out.
99.